I am now proud to announce the first award of the 12th Annual Queer Youth Leadership Awards. Our first awardee is Rio Vander-Stahl. Rio is the president of Pacific Collegiate School's Gay Straight Alliance. He is also the first chair cellist in the Santa Cruz Youth Symphony and was just accepted to UC Berkeley, where he will expand his passions for music and biochemistry. Currently, Rio is a member of Celebrating Youth, a local chamber music organization. He is also a volunteer with the Community Music School's Celtic Music Camp. The openly gay son of 2 lesbian moms, Rio is a leader and role model in his academics, volunteering, and music. Let's watch Rio's video.
My name's Rio Vander-Stahl. I go to school at Pacific Collegiate Charter School, and I'm in 12th grade. I'm a cellist. I love playing music, and I play in chamber groups, and I play in youth symphony, and I play Celtic music as well, and I do summer camps for that through the Community Music School. It was difficult for me. I mean, even though my mom is queer and, you know, my family is very open, and I went to music camp where everyone's gay, and I mean, and I had all the cards lined up, like it's going to be a smooth process, but it still wasn't a smooth process, and it took me a long time to realize that, oh, it hasn't been a smooth process. Like, I'm not okay with this, and it took a lot of working through, you know, am I okay with this? How am I feeling about this? To actually accept that, yes, I'm gay. Yes, I'm okay with that. Yes, everyone else needs to be okay with that. I mean, Santa Cruz is, of course, an extremely liberal place. It's extremely open as far as other places in the country go, but that doesn't mean that accepting yourself is any less difficult. I mean, that process in itself is something that most people don't imagine, the going through the self-hatred and the self-questioning and that kind of thing. Some people, I mean, one of my friends came out when he was in 3rd grade or something like that, which is ridiculous, but I mean, some people get it worked out, figured out before they get into this atmosphere where it's questioned, before people are, wondering, before people start saying things like that's so gay. And from junior high into the beginning of high school, it's a time where everyone feels uncomfortable. And a lot of times people who feel uncomfortable will say things like that's so gay, and just to be cooler or to feel better about themselves. But in that process, they don't realize that they're making that time period so much more difficult for people who are coming out and people who are trying to deal with that.
Let's accept Rio up here to the stage, please. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Oh, you think it's hot down there? Yeah, you don't even know. Okay, so if you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, it's because I'm going off to my senior prom right after the ceremony. Something I'm beginning to regret now. As I was heading around town, picking up things for tonight, I was thinking to myself, what can I talk about? Well, if you know me, I was freaking out about what I could talk about. And then I realized next month marks the 40th anniversary of the Stonewall riots in New York. It'll be 40 years when we started to fight back against the oppressive society that we were trying to live around. 40 years in which we've seen almost unprecedented change, from living in fear of a society to living as part of a society. Now, the Stonewall riots aren't something I've, had to grow up thinking about. We've come so far in 40 years. And at this point, I don't think it's a matter of if gay marriage is going to be legalized, but when gay marriage is going to be legalized. And honestly, it's just a matter of time. I'm so fortunate that I've grown up in a time when I can stand up in front of you and say that. But living in such an open and accepting community in an incredibly liberal county, there is a temptation to take this freedom for granted. At my school, PCS, there isn't bullying or violence, but there also isn't activism. We don't have fear that leads us to act. As teenagers, students, and even adults, we can't sit back and benefit from the work other people are brave enough to do. Even though I may not feel fear walking into school, my fight isn't over. As long as one person is in the dark, we have to stand up as role models for those who aren't yet comfortable to come out. I sometimes forget this. In school, we're taught to learn things, to memorize and to repeat, but not always to think. So many of us think that just because we live in Santa Cruz, everything is okay, but that's not true. Teens still have a really hard time coming out to themselves and coming out to their family and peers. As teenagers, we're told so many things by our parents, our peers, and the media. We don't always stop and consider what they actually mean and why we do or don't believe in them. I think that educating people to think critically is the most effective way to open eyes and create change, both in the LGBT community and in other communities as well. When you really think and find what you do believe in, then stand up for it and know that your efforts make a difference to those around you. I don't think everyone should follow blindly behind a cause. We need to think independently and come together to act on them. I may not be a senator or a congressman. I may not have political power or great amounts of money to fling around, but I do have a voice, and I do have the power to make a difference. I also know that when I use my voice and free speech with others, it becomes so much more powerful. Where I found my voice, in music. I don't think you need to go around with rainbow flags and a pride parade to be an LGBT activist, although they certainly do have their place. But you do need to lead by being yourself. Some of the most influential leaders in my life have been queer musicians who are just being themselves. That brings me to the organization that I'm going to give my donation to, the Community Music School. The Community Music School is a nonprofit organization that gives music lessons, instrument loans, it hosts concerts, and most importantly, it puts on 2 summer camps every year with a focus on Celtic music, one for kids and an overnight camp for teens. I've been going to these camps since I've been playing cello, and although you may it has made more of an impact on my life than any other organization out there. At camp, I've felt safe and accepted for who I am, and I've been surrounded by people who have led by being themselves, and it's fantastic that organization exists, and I was able to experience it. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who is out, who leads by example, and to my family and to my parents and to my friends. Thank you.